you are in a difficult season of your marriage, our first guest today say you are not alone. They help couples every day move past their struggles to find love and peace again. We welcome the hosts of The Art of Relationships, Chris and Alisa Grace. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Tell me about how long you guys have been together, because you work together, you've raised kids, you're good experts on this stuff.
Yeah, we've been together almost 38 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah, and we actually happened to meet 38 years ago at a wedding that she crashed.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah, and no one knew who she was.
Daring.
We talked 10 minutes, and I'm from Colorado, and she crashed this wedding, drove all the way from Texas with a friend. And so I had to call the bride's mom. I had to call the bride in Japan because no one knew who this girl was.
You must have been quite enchanting for him to do all that work to track you down.
And I finally wrote a letter to some girl at Texas Tech and asked her to give it to the wedding crasher named Alisa, and that's how we met.
So fast forward, you've raised these beautiful now adult children. We've got little grandbabies.
We do.
How have you guys been able to keep it moving and work together all this time?
Yeah, we're together 24/7.
Right, that's not easy.
It wasn't at first. We really had to work at it and get into a rhythm. But I think we've picked up some great tips over the years, because the very first, those newlywed years were a lot of fun. We just enjoyed being together finally.
So fun.
And then when kids came, it really began to expose the cracks that were a lot easier to cover and just kind of ignore at first. And so then we experienced a good couple of rocky years. And, I think if we would have given up in that time, Hannah, it would have been really easy to walk away.
Yeah.
But we were just really committed to making it work. And so we put into practice some things that we're going to be sharing this weekend at a marriage conference. And it has really worked for us.
I bet you hear from people all the time that they feel quite hopeless, right? Everybody experiences rough patches, but it can be easy to, like you said, want to give up. What do you say in those moments of darkness when couples are coming to you saying, I don't think I can do this anymore?
Yeah, one of the things I think is recognizing where they're at, right? If they're in a situation where they have young children at home, research is showing that around 68% of couples have a drop in their happiness when kids are in the home, young kids. But that still leaves 32% that don't experience that. And so some researchers went, well, how do you get in? Who are the 32%?
Right.
And it's interesting. It found that this research showed that the couples that fall into that category of staying happy were those who, both people in the relationship made an investment. They both accepted influence from each other, and they both participated in the raising of children. And that was an interesting finding. And so I think for us, what we found was we started with our second child really kind of hitting a rocky place. And we knew there was hope out there. We just didn't know what to do. And so some of the tools, I think the biggest one we learned, Hannah, was about gratitude. Gratitude and writing down something every day you're grateful for. That was really cool to do. I found her list one time, and it was her private list, and things she was grateful for about me. And you know what I did? I actually opened it up and read it. And you know that feeling you get when you've done something kind of wrong? I felt it right away. It was her private journal. And I knew exactly what I had to do. I had to add some things that she left off of there. She left a bunch of things off, and I'm like, and then I felt better. But seriously, gratitude is one of the things we give couples hope about is you can do this.
It's really powerful. Even, like you said, keeping a journal. We were coached to keep a list of the things you really appreciate about your spouse, because we are so good at noticing the things they do wrong, the things that irritate us, the things, how many times do I have to ask you to put the cereal away in the cabinet? How many times do I have to ask you to pick the kids up on time, pay the bills, whatever it is. And it's so easy just to focus on that. But that daily practice of gratitude, being really intentional, where they coached us, find 2 or 3 things that you appreciate, that you admire, appreciate, that you just enjoy about your spouse, and tell them every day. It's not just enough to notice it and make note of it, but to actually express it. And so by doing that, you've you kind of go through those really obvious ones right away. So then to actually complete the project, you have to really become a first-class noticer about your spouse and paying attention. And not just letting those little things that you take for granted, like, hey, you paid the bills this month. And you know, that's just something you kind of took upon yourself. And it's not even so much that you paid the bills, but that you know I hate to pay them. It stresses me out. And so you took that on, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, the unspoken part of it.
Yes.
Well, how beautiful to give and receive a compliment every single day. That seems like a great practice.
Cool.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And I think another thing for couples that are maybe struggling with maybe hope, or they are losing, and maybe kind of dealing with a little isolation, is to recognize that all couples have conflict.
It's true.
No one, other than us, no one is conflict-free. We haven't had
Unless
conflict.
you read my journal.
There you go.
You're in trouble.
But it's not the amount of conflict. It's really how you manage it. And so I think it's the tools, and one of the best ways of managing it that we learned early on, that, you know, we practice and try and do all the time, is this little saying that it's better to be understanding than to be understood.
Oh, wow.
And so every time someone's in a conflict, I know for me, I just want them to, I want her to understand me. Like, wait, understand where I came from. You have to, no, wait, you're not hearing me. This is why I did it. This is why I said it. This is why I did that. And really recognizing at that moment, one of the best things you could do is to seek to be understanding. And still pause and say, hold on, where are you coming from? What do you mean by that? And that's a really cool one.
Yeah, that big empathy muscle that we talk about so much, right?
Sure, exactly
because the argument is rarely about whatever the circumstances. It's not, you may be arguing about the kids, but it's not really about the kids. Let's say their education, whether you're going to homeschool, public school, private school, whatever it is, and you have a disagreement. It's really rarely about that, but it's a deeper emotional button that's getting pushed. And if you can get down to that deeper level and figure out, you know, this is what I'm afraid of, this is what I'm worried about, this is, you know, maybe something in our home, the way I grew up, that it really pushes that button for me, then that gives me a lot more information about myself and what's going on with me, so I can do the work I need to do to be a healthy, great partner for him. And then it also gives him information about me and about him on a much deeper level than just, oh, she wants to do education this way, but it's actually a whole lot deeper.
Exactly. Well, you guys have great perspective, learned perspective on prioritizing the relationship, which can be so hard when you've got little kids running around.
Super
I'm there
hard.
right now. I feel it. It is tough. But you have to make that commitment to each other, and it makes you a better family at the end of the day.
It sure does, because kids really will pick up, not always on what we say, it's what we do, and they're watching, right? And interestingly enough, Hannah, I think the other cool thing is, this isn't really hard to put into practice. One cool thing too, and that is 5 extra hours in research that they found. If you invest 5 hours a week more than you're doing now, couples begin to thrive. So they were looking at all these couples and how they differed after a year. Some were struggling at the beginning and still continued, but others did better. And the only difference between these two couples, this is some John Gottman research, who's up in this area, but he found the couples that are thriving found 5 more hours a week to invest in their marriage. That's just 30 minutes at lunch one day, or a date night, which we really suggest to do. One date night a week, and then maybe an extended time away sometime that month. But it's not that hard to find.
When you make it a
5 more
priority,
hours.
you can find the time.
I think that's right.
I would love to talk more with you guys, but we're out of time. Thank you for being here. We're going to have all the information about your retreat on our website so people can go learn more about you. Thank you again. It was so great chatting with you. We'll have all that information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.